Steve Austin to stay retired, it seems. Back in February, Stone Cold Steve Austin said never say never in regards to having another match. Then, when asked to participate in WrestleMania 40 in the main event in a non-wrestling but physical role, it was said that Austin and WWE couldn't come to a financial agreement. And now, during the closing credits of his A&E biography, Austin had the following to say in regards to returning to the ring yet again following his main event bout with Kevin Owens at WrestleMania 38. That was a couple of years ago. Quote is, "I've walked away, I'm happy with what I did, and there's people who have done more and lasted longer. I had a pretty good run, and I'm pretty happy with it, so I ain't got nothing to prove to nobody." Mm-hmm. So,
I believe it.
You think he's done? You think he's got it out of his system?
What's according to what they want him to do? I think if the system is having a match, I don't think you're going to see him in a match. Because there's no need to see him in a match. If he was in somebody's corner, he was the second, he was this, he was that. All that was required to do was him giving the stunner. Yeah, he can do that.
Yeah, but he turned it down at WrestleMania 40. I mean, he claims it was money.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it was money. Yeah. What do you think he wanted?
7 figures, probably. Do you think that's too much just for an unadvertised appearance?
I don't know what they did worldwide in pay-per-views. I know they got tons and tons and tons of money. And this is TKO's first pay-per-view. So they wanted to come off big time. So for him to give TKO a figure they didn't figure that he was worth, they could have given it to him if they'd wanted to, but they didn't. Give me a figure, and I'll say if it's feasible.
Okay, in all seriousness, Austin, let's say for being in the main event, even though it was unadvertised, just for a quick spot, $500,000.
I think he asked for more.
I think he probably. I bet he said, "Give me $1 million," because he probably would have seen main event WrestleMania.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I would have said. What's the worst thing they can say? Is no. But they didn't want to meet it. They said, "Okay."
Why has Austin been so hard to convince to return to the ring? So there were rumours about him doing potential one-off matches for years. Obviously, he had the neck issues that caused him to retire. I suspect at some point his neck was healthy enough he could come back. I don't know if it was at WrestleMania 38 with Kevin Owens. I don't know how many years prior it was where he would have been deemed healthy enough to wrestle again, or at least for one more match. But there was rumours from CM Punk to Brock Lesnar that Austin was going to return, and he never did until he was 57 years old in it wasn't in New Orleans, was it? With Kevin Owens in a match that really over-delivered, quite frankly, for what people thought they were going to get. So why has it been so difficult to get back to the ring?
Under-delivered?
Over-delivered. Did I say under?
I don't know. I didn't understand what you said.
No, so he over-delivered in his performance. So, but anyway, why is Austin so hard to get back to wrestling?
First of all, he doesn't need to wrestle.
But he loves it. He does love it, though.
Yeah, but you either meet, this is it. He said, you either meet my price or, hey, let's don't even do it. You say $500,000. I said $1 million. I will go maybe 750,000. Right. So, but to me, they didn't even negotiate because they didn't even meet anywhere. If they say, well, we give you this, and he said, I got to have more than that. We give us I don't know who was doing his negotiating, I guess himself. But I look at it like this. Say 250,000. How many people can sit around and say, well, hell, I ain't got nothing to do this Sunday, this Saturday night. I think I'll just go over there to the arena and make about $250,000. What? Oh, yeah. I'll be back later. See you later, hon. Boom, he's gone. Now, everybody wishes they could do that. And here's a guy that had a chance to do it, but turned it down. So it just goes to show you how much money he made, plus his other ventures that he's doing there are making him money. So, and he, him and Vince, they had a adversarial relationship for a number of years. They was always at each other's throat. But he drew so much money, they couldn't keep him down. And Vince knew that. Vince hated that. So, and I think maybe, I don't think Steve would let this be known. But I bet he said, well, he finally got his ass caught. So, and it may have been a little bit of a win for him, but I don't think him and Vince were that buddy. They were buddies for a while, I'm sure, but not that buddy that some people might think they were.
What makes you say that? So obviously on-screen relationship, they were at each other's throats, but off-screen, what makes you think that it was more contentious than Steve would be willing to let on?
Well, Steve, he didn't say a lot. You'd have to read between the lines. When I was around Steve, mostly was when he just got started there. What was that gimmick he was doing when he started there?
Oh, it's your favorite, the Ringmaster.
Oh my God. I told him one day, I said, boy, that's a winner. So I used to ride a lot with him anyway. And he said, oh yeah, tell me about it. And then all of a sudden he gave himself the Stone Cold deal. And I was riding with him one day and I told him, I said, what did I give him? Not Stone Cold. I gave him something else. Anyway. But I told him, I gave him the Austin name. That's what I did. And then he gave the Stone Cold, and then his wife gave something, and pretty soon he was in business. But I think they listened to him when he started because he's hard-headed as hell. So he knew his character, and this is where a lot of guys, if they're going to be a success in anything, say the guy's a singer, but he can feel the mood of the room when he goes out to sing this song, and he knows it's going to do something. Well, Austin was going to the ring every night, and he was feeling those people, feeling them. And then slowly, and he's the type of guy who really taught himself this business. Because even when I had him, I was watching him. I had him in Memphis. And I told him, I said, listen, I want you to watch every match, every night till you leave. So, and he had a match and he come back and he said, how was it? I said, well, it'd be easier to tell you. So what'd you like about my matches? I said, well, it'd be easier to tell you what I didn't like. He said, well, what didn't you like? I said, everything. So that's when I told him, I said, this is what I want you to do. I want you to get a chair, sit down at the curtain. I want you to watch every match, every night till the time you leave. And he did. Every night when I was looking for Austin, I'd go to the curtain. There he wouldn't. He'd be sitting there to have a chair, his mouth full of tobacco, spitting in a cup, but he was watching the matches. So he was learning, and one thing I said, man, he was self-taught a lot because he had started down there in Texas with the Von Erichs and didn't much go anywhere, didn't learn anything there. And that's when I brought him to Memphis. So, and I rode 30,000 miles of that guy, 40. Good talker.
With, just to return to what you mentioned before, that he probably wasn't all buddy with Vince McMahon, as probably some people have been led to believe, or the impression he's given, I don't know. Another thing that he said was whenever he was given some creative that he didn't like, he would just go, that sucks, and then just leave it. He'd never offer a plan B in that sense. So do you think that's partly why he and Vince may have butted heads more than they could have done over the years?
Well, probably they wanted to do a lot of stupid stuff, and he refused to do it. I mean, because if he started doing stupid stuff in the iteration of Stone Cold Steve Austin, it would have hurt the whole gimmick. It would have hurt the whole character. So he went out there, and he was the type that he was like your next door neighbor talking about the boss, because everybody hates the boss. Everybody get jacked around at work and all this. And you got some people you don't like. Well, Vince was that for him, and he would talk about it, and people identified with that. And I told Vince this one time. I said, you and Austin, they came to Nashville. I was living there, and I went down just to see them. And I was walking in, and Vince was walking in. I said, Vince, I just got to tell you, the thing you're doing with Austin, probably one of the greatest stories of the greatest things I've seen, because it kept the people watching, kept me watching, and I know what's going on. I think I do. But him and Austin, what a story they had. And it went on and on and on and on. And the people still talk about it. That's how strong it was.
But ultimately, you think Austin isn't disappointed that Vince got caught, or has been accused, or has been thrown out.
Oh, I'm sure he makes jokes about it, because that's the type of guy he is. He takes his boy. Well, goddamn Vince, you should have reined it down when I told you to, boy.